Good morning, everybody. I'm Bob Nagan, and welcome to another episode of Coronavirus in the Independent Retailer. This is episode number 31. 31. First thing I want to say, as always, is congratulations. You made it through another weekend, which means since we've last been together, you are 3 days. We are 3 days closer to the end of this bullshit. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about something that I think is super important, and that's the future of retail. Who's going to make it? Who I don't think is going to make it. And again, it's just my opinion. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk about a couple of things. First of all, on Whizbang Retailers, our Facebook community, on Sundays, I always post a positive focus. I ask people to share their best moments, personal, professional, big or small, from the previous week. And oh my goodness, it was just so wonderful to read all the good things that are happening in that community, in this community. I mean, people are starting new divisions of their business. People are lifting themselves up. People are doing Facebook Lives for the very first time. So if you need a little positive inspiration, I would encourage you to go to Whizbang Retailers and just read through that thread. I mean, I try not to work on the weekends. I try to really give myself free days, get away from the business. The only thing I do is get up on Sundays and post positive focus. So this morning I did that, and man, oh man, it was an awesome experience, and I'm really proud of all of you. Not like I'm a parent or anything, but I'm really proud of all of you. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is my Saturday. So now, if this has happened to you, I'd love to, have you hit the like or the love button, just to see if this experience rings true. So Saturday was my day of sighs. In Venice, they have a bridge of sighs. My Saturday was a day of sighs. And they weren't soft, gentle sighs like, I love you, Susan. They were like all day long. I'd walk around and go, just this giant, the Joe and Sam and Susan are looking at me like I just had all of these sighs. So if you've had a day like that, let us know, because Sunday was a lot better, but it was like all of this GCA, general coronis anxiety, just needed an outlet. And I was sighing all day long. I found it amusing and thought I'd share it with you. So let's talk about the future of retail, because it's really starting to emerge right now. In Michigan, the governor sort of lifted some of the restrictions here in Michigan. Some states are starting to open up. So the future is becoming a little clearer, at least from my perspective as somebody who watches this. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be super interesting. About 4 years ago, Susan and I created a way of looking at the retailer's journey. That's why it's called the retailer's journey. And, it's a model to look at, what typically happens with an independent retailer. It happened with me. It happens with most of the people I interview, talk to, coach, members of the Platinum Mastermind group. And typically, independent retailers start with being a shopkeeper. A shopkeeper is someone who, I love flying kites, so I thought I'd open a kite store. The woman who loves fashion opens a women's clothing boutique. If you love radio control, you open a hobby store. That's a shopkeeper, right? Your passion for your product really defines your retail experience. You're just so excited to do that thing. But what I've learned, and what I learned the hard way when I was in retail, was your passion for your product is not enough to make you profitable. So the second phase, the second of 3 phases, is Retail Pro. And this is when you take your passion for your product and you put it into being a good business person, into being a good retailer, And Then the third stage is entrepreneur as artist. And that's when you take all of these experiences and all of this wisdom and all of these skills that you've accumulated and you turn them into a new business, a different model. Our whiz-bang certified retail coaches generally are entrepreneurs as artists, right? They've learned all these lessons in retail. They become coaches. So here's why this is important. The amount of time you have to be a shopkeeper has now shrunk dramatically. You know, shopkeepers are also, somewhere in there are the hobbyists, and you know who I'm talking about. So they're not even shopkeepers. They're just they just opened a retail store because they thought it would be fun, right? So they're hobbyists. They're not really businesses. They have a business, but their mindset is, this is a hobby. This is something I'm doing for fun. This is something to take up my time. And here's what I want to say is that there's not going to be very much room for the shopkeeper post-pandemic. You know, right now, it's already started. And for lack of a better term, I'm calling it the great retail separation of 2020. But think about this. Think about what's happening. Department stores are in a world of hurt. Mediocre mid-sized chains are in a world of hurt. Malls are in a world of hurt. The shopkeepers and hobbyists will soon be in a world of hurt. So what we're going to see is we're going to see massive store closings, but the people who are left, the people who remain must be great. Must be great. So this is why I'm saying Retail Pro is table stakes. In Vegas, you know, if you're going to go gamble for a night, you need to sort of have table stakes. The amount of money that you're going to play with. And I'm looking at all of you right now and saying that being a retail pro in the future, post-pandemic, is going to be table stakes. You know, it's easy to go along when times are good. There's enough money, you know, before this whole coronavirus hit, there was enough money floating around in the economy that, you know, if you were pretty good, you could hang on. If you were a shopkeeper who was slowly moving towards being a retail professional, you could hang on. Those times are diminishing quickly. So really what I'm asking you to consider is this whole idea of skilling up. You know, Power Rangers had power up. Some people talk about leveling up. Really, what I really want to encourage you to think about is what skills you need to be competitive post-pandemic. What skills do you need? So what courses do you need to take? What skills don't you have? What do you need? Should you hire a coach? If you need a retail coach, by all means, go to our website. In the primary navigation, it says find a coach. What books do you need to read? What do you need to do? Who do you need to become competitive in a post-pandemic world? Because the skills that allowed you to make it or even be successful in a pre-pandemic world are different than the skills that you need in a post-pandemic world. Do you have the retail mastery system? You know, do you have all of those 11 skills? If you don't, that may be an investment that you want to make sooner rather than later, because those skills are incredibly important to your success. Those are the foundational skills. You know, you can't start with the top, you have to start with the foundation. You don't decorate the room first when you build a house. No, you build the foundation. And the retail mastery system will give you those foundational skills. So, another question. Do you have the retail mastery system but haven't gone through it yet or only gone through part of it? If that's you, now is the time. Now is the time to skill up. Now is the time to ask yourself what you need to know, who you need to become successful in the post-pandemic world. And by the way, You know, I'm a small business person just like you. We are a small company just like yours. And we looked at it and we said, you know, what do we need to do to level up? And one of the things that we realized is that we needed to have a more robust social media presence. So what did we do? We went out and found some people who are helping us with our social media. Really, really sharp people. Actually, they're Joe and Sam, our sons, but I mean, they're good at what they do. And if you don't follow us on Instagram yet, I would encourage you to follow us on Instagram. You'll see the leveling up. That's just what we're doing. I'm asking what you need to do, because that separation is happening. And, you know, just by looking at the comments in yesterday's Positive Focus, I can tell you that you are doing what it takes. Or most of you, the fact that you're watching this or listening to this and engaging your brain in such a meaningful way tells me that you are going to do what needs to be done. Remember what we talked about? Assess, adjust, advance. This is where you assess. What skills do I need? Am I good at marketing? Do I really focus on lifetime value? Do I build the emotional bank account? My culture, what is my culture like? Do I have the management skills that I need? Do I understand what a really great standard looks like? And do I train to it? All of these things are so very, very important to you. You know, retail is hard even in good times. And it's going to get harder. But that's okay. With the difficulty comes opportunity. This is your chance to really, really position yourself for an incredibly bright future. So speaking of leveling up, tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, Retail Marketing Club is meeting. And we talk about marketing here on this podcast, and we talk about marketing on our Whizbang Retailers Facebook page. But tomorrow in the Retail Marketing Club, we are going to spend a full hour just talking about what marketing looks like post-pandemic. What does it look like? How should you think about marketing post-pandemic, and what you should do post-pandemic? Because marketing is being flipped on its head, shaken like one of those little snowballs, and who knows exactly what's going to emerge. But if you're part of the club, you will leave that meeting with a really, really good idea of how to think about your marketing. It is a membership, but it's only $29 a month. I think we have the last 4 meetings still up. So it's a tremendous investment in your retail marketing education. You can cancel at any time. There's no obligation. But if you want to learn more about the Retail Marketing Club, you can go to our website. In the primary navigation, it says products, and then just go and look. But like I said, for $29, you won't find a better value in marketing education. All right. So again, I just want to go back and say I am so happy to see what people are doing. You know, we've been talking about the hustle. Well, guess what? I see a lot of you hustling, and I'm super happy for you, super proud of you, and can't wait to see what comes from your hustle. So I'm Bob Megan. This is episode, what number was it? 31. We'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 for episode 32. Love you, everybody. Take care.